Hello, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday, everyone. It's good to be here today. Thank you so much for the engagements and comments. I received some positive and, of course, some negative feedback on my previous video about women taking pride in being a homemaker, women taking pride in raising kids, staying at home mothers. And we talked about the Ukrainian type number one. So you're gonna see some videos on the other three types. But I believe that is also goes international. And since our channel is Ukrainian perspective, I would like to share with you my perspective and on the role of the mothers that stay home, especially in the early child development. I think that sometimes people are so driven by the financial rewards that they forget some very crucial and essential things that cost more than money. I'm talking about, sometimes you have to have, one income instead of two incomes, right? If it's not necessarily, if you're going to talk about Ukrainian women type 3 and not only Ukrainian but other, women type 3 that actually making money and stay at home. But today we're just looking at the classic version when the lady stays home and the man is going out to work. And let's talk today about motherhood. Let's talk today about what is so special about women staying home when they just becoming a mother, and what is that maybe we don't realize when as women we striving to rush to work. And you're talking to a very ambitious woman, very driven. That's how my mother was. And I had to overcome certain things. So, and also, when man is thinking, well, if you only would have a job, we can move to a bigger house, we can update our cars, so maybe you should go to work. First of all, I was shocked when I came to United States, and I realized that many mothers go to work after 4 to 6 weeks of a child being born. I've never seen anything like that. In post-USSR, there was basically 3 years for that given by government, and the woman would get government support and, of course, the husband's salary or whatever it is. But she would officially, the maternity leave was officially 3 years. Now, that could be a bit, even too long, for some. That's very personal. These are personal details. We're not gonna, focus on exceptions and personal details. The point of this is that they actually consider the importance of a woman staying and being present in her child's early years. So let's talk a little bit about this. And guys, I'm not trying to convince you do this or that. My point is to bring some more perspective on certain things and to discuss it and learn from you and hear from you as well. So one thing is when you consider about, you're going to Ukraine, maybe, to marry a Ukrainian woman, you're thinking about having children as well. One thing you have to consider before you think about, oh, she has to go to work, we have great daycare. Think about this. And, and talking about, oppression. Yesterday I've mentioned about it's hard to say who is oppressed. The woman that has to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, make breakfast for everybody, get everybody dressed, get everybody to school, run to her work, not be late, not make her boss upset, and then what? Then she has to bring in the money and help her husband, or sort of she has to go do the work and contribute all of her money is 50% of her contribution, but then she has to also do all the family work. So who is oppressed? The persons, that the women that have a possibility to do what she loves and take care and invest her love into her child, or the woman that lives on cortisol and doesn't know, oh my god, my child is sick, what do I do? Do I send my sick child to daycare, or do I stay home? I'm gonna have issues with my boss. I remember bringing my child when he was bigger for one day of a daycare because I wanted him to interact with other kids. And so when I was doing that, the daycare was full of sick kids. I mean, they have all kinds of cough and sniffles, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is gonna build his immunity. The kids, the majority of the kids were sick, but their mothers, and I'm not blaming them once again, their mothers could not allow themselves a luxury of staying at home and take care of your child. That alone breaks a woman's heart, especially, I want to tell you guys, especially when that child is so little. There is something about that instinct. I remember, when my child was really small, I was sometimes going out, socializing. I'm not suggesting that don't have any time for yourself. I'm not suggesting don't have social life, or, don't do anything. But you have that natural instinct. I remember I would have invitations to certain places. I would have some events coming up, some parties, and the natural instinct would almost always take over, and I would feel, no, I really want to be with my child. And this is where I want to start with. You can never get those days back. When the woman goes to work and she's not seeing her child for 6 to 8 to 9 hours, he is growing up without her. She can't have the experience of hearing her child's first words. She can't have the experience of hearing her child first phrases, first moves, first steps. And people in the daycare, they are the ones that basically doing the mother's part, and you're basically missing out on your child. And another really, really, probably the main point of this video, just to understand the logic of it. So when the woman leaves your house and she's been up, let's say from 5 or 6 in the morning, she goes make somebody else's dreams come true, and she works hard, she gives her 100% at work, she's serving other people, she goes against her mother instinct, she steps into her masculine energy way too early. So how do you feel? I have a question to you guys. How do you feel if you've been at work for 6, 7, 8, 9 hours and you come home? Do you feel like cooking? Do you feel like asking your child, so how was your day, or how do you feel? Or your child is drawing something, it's like, mommy, look, and you're like, oh, fine, great, nice. When your child is a bit bigger, they want to show you stuff, they want to talk to you, they want to play with you. Are you really, how much of emotional and mental and physical energy the woman have, or the woman has, when she comes home after slaving at a job, working for a boss, or whatever, being in a corporate, whatever she's doing, doesn't matter. How much energy will she give to her child? For those of you who were, criticizing me harshly, I mean, not those of you who are watching now, don't get me wrong, but I get this, there is always this one person that is trying to do something negative, so don't take it personally. But those of you who think, well, the woman has to contribute, what does she bring to the table? Well, here is the answer. She brings a lot less to the table when she comes home. Listen to this. She's exhausted. She doesn't want to she doesn't feel like cooking. She doesn't feel like cleaning. She can't connect with her child the way she would be connecting with her child if she would not be tired. If she would not be tired and, exhausted of being on her feet for 12 or 14 hours or whatever it is, even if she's an energetic person, she's gonna be drained. And so what part of herself she's given to the child and to you? She would love to give you more, but she can't. You can't squeeze the lemon, take all the juice out of it and keep squeezing that poor lemon. So we actually have this expression in Russian and Ukrainian, squeezed lemon. I feel like squeezed lemon. And I think it's sort of, this rat race when the woman has to do all these things and she is tired. I've actually experienced that with my mom. My mom had to do a lot, and I remember just looking at her, not understanding everything, but I could feel that she was ready to just fall down, and the dinner needs to be made, and the children needs to be engaged with. So right now it is about 6 o'clock. I'm about to make a dinner myself, right? I love cooking. I love doing beautiful things for my little family. And if I would be battling all day, doing things I hate, I probably would be in that line. So we have drive-through lines right now, about 5 to 7 o'clock. We have drive-through lines for Little Caesars pizza, that is absolutely awful. Hungry House, that's not better. And so basically, people, women, losing that art of having connection, having dinner together, making healthy meals, teaching the children, seeing the children see their mother making food for them. And when you make a food for your child, it's not just the food, it's not just like the nutrients, it's also when you cook, you put love in it. I can tell you 100%, you can have the most simple ingredients, but when you cook for somebody you love, you put your love in it. It's a self expression, how you express care and love. I mean, even my son tells me that, the homemade food is just different. That, it is special. Not to mention about the health. Guys, don't get me wrong. Absolutely not to mention about the health. I hate to say it, but 1/3 of my son's class, they are 10-year-olds. 1/3 of these kids are overweight. I mean, there is different to be overweight, when you're in your 40s or 50s, you can, or 30s, whatever, and have a couple pounds here and there. But when you're a 10-year-old, really having serious weight issues, I can't even recognize half of the kids. Why? Because these poor mothers that have to work, and I'm not judging them, but they don't have any energy to come home unless they are super organized and have like meal preps and have some special things together for that, like type 3 would have. But these poor children, they never see a homemade dinner. They never see homemade dinner. And after being 8-9 hours at work, you come home and your child wants to talk to you. He wants to tell you about his day, who he played with. Are you really going to be listening to your child that want to tell you about, the sun and what he drew and what he discovered? You really gonna be listening to your child when your head is like this? You think about your boss, you think about the clients, you think about the mistakes, and you have pressure that tomorrow the mortgage is coming. Oh my gosh, I didn't pay that bill. And no, you're not listening. You say, hey, here, honey, here is the iPad, or, here is the phone. You want to watch that video? Or you give them sweets. The problem, what happens, it's also emotional disconnect. People used to have dinner also is a family tradition and a ritual. It's not just the food, but you sit and you connect. You share how your day was, how you felt, what you discovered. And I feel like people I feel like more than half people, like at least in my town, around this time, they all coming home with boxes of pizza, I don't know, some sandwiches. I mean, all kinds of fast food, and that's it. They dread the thought of cooking something or doing something with their children. So this is, guys, maybe for some people they think, well, you're making too big of a deal of this, but I don't think there is anything that is too big of a deal when it comes to well-being, when it comes to well-being of your child. I see a lot of people agreeing with me. Thank you guys so much. It's an honor and privilege to take care of your child, for the mother, and for the father. By the way, I'm not saying that father should not be involved, but being that kind of father that can allow his wife, mother of his children, of their children, to enjoy that role, to not be exhausted, to not be worrying about, missing a day at work and deciding between, okay, do I bring my sick child to the daycare? Do I bring my sick child to the daycare, and go please my boss and go to work? Or do I actually take care of him just like nature intended? And another issue is about the early child development. Children learn how to relate with their parents. The way the child is connecting with his or her mother, this is the way he sees the world. So when mother is nurturing and loving and present, the child is getting the message that the world is good, the world is here, you can embrace it, you are loved. We don't remember what we did, how we usually don't have memories of when we were a year old or 2-year old, even 3-year old. We don't consciously remember, but subconsciously we do. Subconsciously, that nourishment, that love, connection, it builds an incredible immunity and mental health. I think that mental health should not be neglected, and we're not only talking about the nutrients. Everything is important, but you can, the love, the mother's love, and Mother's Day is coming, by the way. The mother's love gives incredible confidence to the child, and nobody ever can take that away. Even, when he grows up and he's 40 years old, when somebody had a nourishing mother, they know how to love themselves, they know how to love others, and nobody can take that away. So I just wanted to make this addition to the video I just made because of course people like to turn things around sometimes, and everybody gonna do what they believe in. But what I'm trying to say and the point I'm making, there is no replacement for the mother. And things change, when the child is growing up a little bit, when the child can speak, when the child can tell you about their day. Because one of my other major concerns is the situation with children being abused in a daycare, children being abused by babysitters, children being, sexually abused. I mean, that thing just horrifies the life out of me. I probably would go to jail if I would know that somebody is trying to do something to my child, because I probably would take their life away right there. I mean, seriously, if I would come and see something like that, I didn't realize how common that is. And a lot of times it happens to children. They are not that little anymore, but they don't tell their parents. You know why? Because they're afraid and they do not have connection with their parents. So when you come home and your child want to tell you something, sometimes you need to sit down in a nice armchair. You can put some candle or some nice light and talk like we do in Ukraine. We have tea and we talk. We look in each other's eyes. The child is not gonna open up to you when you're on Instagram, talking to him, ordering fast food, completely ignoring him. He's not gonna open up. It takes a special atmosphere to connect with anybody. A child is no different. So these children that were physically abused, emotionally abused, sexually abused at a young age, some of them could speak, some of them couldn't speak. But, the parents usually have no idea. So do you think that if that mother wouldn't have to go to work, wouldn't have to worry about all that, you think she would know that her child acts different? Even, if the child is going like part-time, I totally understand it's good for kids to communicate, to have some social time. If he goes like part-time to the daycare or school, do you think the mother that's connected to her child not gonna notice that something weird is going on and pay attention to that? Because she's connected and she's on a mission. So when I realized, I had no idea. I have some people, that I know, they shared statistics. And in this like sleepy towns, there is so much going on in terms of, sexual abuse. Children under 13 years old. And okay, that's one part of it. There is also physical abuse. Everybody, you can see on social media, they show, sometimes they put cameras and they show the babysitters that beat the kids. And I remember when my son was start to go, so I gave him for 1 day a week, like about 4 to 5 hours for the daycare, so he can socialize with other kids and I can have a little bit me time. Why he's, it was working out for us. But I remember that horrible feeling of leaving him in a daycare for a couple hours. I was so anxious sometimes when I was driving, and I was sometimes crying in my car because I knew the people who work on a daycare. They've been in this town for like 30 plus years. Everybody knows them. They raise many generations. It's a small town. If you're some kind of creep, you're out of your job. So I knew that they are wonderful. This is a lifelong things that they do. But feeling that this child is so vulnerable, if somebody could do something to him, and he's so tiny, he was like a year old, and he's so sweet, and somebody can hurt him. And guys, mother instinct is not just a combination of words. It's a very, very strong power. It's something that you feel in your heart. And I didn't want to look like a freak, not freak, but like a person that is emotionally unstable in a daycare, because it was my first experience. But when I was driving my car, I often had tears, and I don't know who had more of separation anxiety, myself or my son. I think I probably had more. It's just because you realize you trust in somebody with your precious child's life, and that child cannot fight back if something goes wrong. On the other hand, it was a good experience because you have to develop the child's social skills, and my son, for example, and other kids have great social skills. I was extremely shy as a child, but that's a long story. Extremely crippling shy. Like you couldn't even talk to me. I was so shy, and it was affecting my I don't know, school career. It was only in elementary to somewhat middle school, but it was extremely painful. So I didn't want my son to be separated from society, so he has those issues. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to give you a perspective, another one, that you don't have to do it this way. You gotta do things the way you're gonna do them. But if the woman wants to give her best to you and to your children, let her do that. It could be a timely thing because, as kids grow, they have hobbies. Like my son is playing right now with his friends. They playing Monopoly at the library, and then he has some activities tonight. He doesn't want to be with me right now. But I want to be with him in the evening. I want to read him books. And that's why I'm actually moving my live show for earlier times. If you notice, I start to do my live show a lot earlier because my live shows earlier. So anyway, you gotta adjust whatever works for you. But just understand that even though the feminists are teaching us that, oh, you can be everything, you can have a great career and be a great mother. You know what? Maybe you can, but not always at once and at the same time. Because calling yourself a great mother when you barely see your kids, when you don't know who they spend time with, when you're not enjoying them. Everybody who is a parent here knows how precious it is to just spend a sweet time with your child, the things they are saying and the things that, they just want to talk to you, My son sometimes come when I work late at night, and he comes and he just like wraps around me and he's like, I just want to talk to you. So I stop everything I do. It's a blessing, it's an honor, and it goes away so fast. It goes away so fast. But I also feel that those strong bases of connection and trust and love, they are all happening during that sweet childhood years. So just this message, I know that you probably could all feel, it really comes from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys so very much. I see a lot of comments here, but I just wanted to stay. Well, looks like we agreeing on everything. I'm looking at the comments and look like overall, I have a lot of audience that understands what this all about. It's a big commitment, Thank you for the kind words, too. I appreciate that. By the way, my son, I posted a short upload with my son. Guys, please excuse his language. He is a child. And he said a few things. I'm like, why do you using these words? You don't usually use them. But he's a child. And if you may not be so, let's not be hypocritical. We also saying those words. I'm working with him on reducing. And he doesn't say them a lot, but he was a bit nervous. So we recorded a video about us going through customs last year in US. And we're gonna make another video about customs and how we were treated. That was quite amazing. So that's coming as well, more into details. He was just playing, a little bit of a showman. And please, if you be so kind, I would like to encourage him to record his videos. So if you have a minute to put a like and to comment under my previous videos, it's called Can You Bring Food from Ukraine to US? I would appreciate that. So that would be nice. Thank you guys for the... Yeah, Tech Effect is saying, I would go crazy indeed when I have to leave my baby in someone else's hands. Damn, and I'm a man. Men actually develop father instinct a little bit later, not as fast as women do, but you have your protective instinct is not any weaker than women's mother's instincts. They are just a bit different because they serve different purposes, but I totally understand. Thank you guys for the kind words. I appreciate that. Let me go get in line for some drive-through. Just kidding. I love going to nice restaurants, but not fast food. Once in a while it's fun. Yeah, I see that you guys basically mostly aligning with this, what I'm saying. Yeah, Bob is saying that you're absolutely correct about the healthy. America is now one of the unhealthiest countries in the world. It's true. And it's very, very sad. It shouldn't be like that. So anyway, guys, that's the point. That's my little, input, and we're gonna move on with other topics. But I just wanna say, you can't do everything all at once at the same time and be great. And those women that try to do that, they usually end up exhausted and end up not serving the purpose very well. So it is an honor, to raise another human being. It's a wonderful thing. It's a challenging thing. It's a very challenging thing, but it's all worth it. So that is my message, guys. If you have some topics that you want me to talk about, I have my own plans, but please share. I would appreciate to hear back from you, wherever you're watching this. Thank you so very much, everybody. Taking some time off internet now, and wishing you a good evening, and